burger from KFC.
And respect to the Chinese casters, both Chang Mao and Wawa also holding it down.
Hell yeah.
You're not getting any gifts from me, but thumbs up, and I'm gone.
I see you, right? Okay. Thank you for joining us. Preacher and I will take you through this once again, although it is the exact same pick and bans. I'm actually going to walk away from that because if Azaya's banned, then I have been lied to, and I think we're just doing the full thing again.
Wow, we're actually just going to redo it from the beginning. Question is, do the same core picks come out as well? I mean, Ian also has the Quinn still open. There's still a priority on the Sejuani.
You know what? It makes me more excited because if we're doing this fresh, I don't think it was fair to run the Quinn like they did, to run everything as standard as they did in game number 1. It is 8 p.m. This match started 3 hours ago. We are finally here now, and I'd like to say everyone who is still watching, hearts out to you because you're the bloody lifeline here of the LPL.
And normally we don't get to shout this out, but huge shout out to all of the audience members in there as well. I mean, you got to have some dedication to be in here from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, they might have had a good KFC burger themselves, but we'll get on with it, ladies and gentlemen. Vici Gaming V5, game number 1. Now, what we know already is that we've seen the Puff Zaya ban. We've also seen the Nico first pick, rather Yumi first pick here for Vici Gaming.
Ooh.
But the Sonar in response from V5 eludes me a bit more.
Very interesting. And normally you would expect that to go to Y4 as well. Had that massive performance against IG, so we do know that he has it in his wheelhouse, got a quadra kill in that game as well. It really will be up to Max to see whether he goes for another poke champion as well, or whether he wants to go for hard support like the TK.
Now, we've seen it, paired nicely with the TK. Good spot there, Preacher. Max has that in his wheelhouse available, especially when you take away his Yumi. As a side note, second game of Yumi here for Southwind, constantly being banned out against Vici Gaming, so now he has to run it into the Sonar Tam Kench. This bottom lane looks quite juicy considering Puff gets his second best in the Ezreal.
It's also very interesting considering that V5 banned off the Xayah and not the Rakan. That was something that was unexpected, but now that we move into the second part of the picks and bans, it's pretty much just a solo lane is all around.
I've never been more excited for a pick and ban. Just seeing Summoner's Rift is going to get me so excited as well.
Let's get on it.
Seeing pick and ban is like seeing Jesus, you know? He rose, or whatever he did. Actually, I'm an atheist, but that's a long story. This, for me, is going to blow the house down. And when you see the Nico ban, you see the Renekton ban as well. We're starting to focus on the flex pits and the top side of the map, and that's when things get even better.
This is not an online dating profile. You don't need to tell the audience what you are. Right now, what we know for certain is that Akali is still open. That is the flex, and both teams can pick that. Another huge pickup is also Jace, which is not banned just yet.
Yeah, it really isn't. Akali, the Jace you mentioned. Let's also look at the other flexes available. Remember that Renekton being banned away is a flex in the LPL. One that Ian has actually played, so surprised to see that away from Vici Gaming. The Silas, another one, which has made it to the second ban phase, and you can see Windy on your screen, looking pretty happy to be back in front of the screen.
Now time to see what they go for. Now, Akali has been nerfed on 9.11, so her energy refund has been down and her scaling on a Q is also down. Both of those two things heavily punish her in the early game, but people who are proficient Akali players can get around it because it wasn't the biggest and it's a scaling nerf, not a flat numbers one.
Also, remember the Jace, the Shock Blast there as well, still taken away. All right, V5, couple of flexes left up and available off the top of my head. Actually, I shouldn't have said that. I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
Yeah, exactly. I think pretty much the only one is the one that I mentioned, but other than that, it's up to Comfort.
Untraditional flex. Untraditional, is that a word?
Yeah, well, it's not traditional. That's
not traditional would be a better way to put it. The Camille has been flexed here in the LPL as well, and of course across the world. We don't know if that's going to be Windy or Mole, but Vici Gaming left with limited options, and a pick that we haven't seen in a very long time is the Lissandra.
It's because she fell out of meta with all of the flex picks, but another champion who fell out of the meta to counter her very nicely is, of course, Zoe. So if Windy wants to pick that one up and actually send Camille over to the top lane, it is available for V5 as a response. Time to see what Vici Gaming do, because they have to show their lane either way.
You've got yourself a jungler, you need a top laner, and Jax could just be the right element here to add to Chalitza. It's been in his wheelhouse before as well. And victory 5 now. We've waited this long. Give us a composition that can fight. This seems to be the way to go. Scaling element. You've already got the Camille. Vladimir, Gangplank, the hover between the two, the Akali also on the board. What's it going to be?
It's a bold pickup as well, because for Vici Gaming right now, it is very heavily scaled, and also Chalitza needs to play super safe before he actually gets to his one-item power spike in the Triforce, where he can actually 1v1 in the side lane. So it will be up to Vici Gaming to protect him as he gets to that point.
Because now for V5, they've got themselves two scaling elements we talked about before. The Sona and the Tahm Kench are going to destroy if they get ahead. Dangerous stuff from Vici Gaming, but through that mid lane, through the potential of the top lane, Vici can push themselves ahead, but I'm expecting lots and lots of fights here in our, I guess, game one.
I do like this as well, because Max has always been known as a saving ADC, roaming around the map. You remember him saving his mid laner as well. Vladimir, not a great early game champion, so if Max manages to find his way into mid lane, that should be some good fun.
We'll take a look at the comps in a second as well, Preacher. Just full throttle here for Vici Gaming, it seems. The combination from the Jarvan, the Jax, the Lissandra, and there's going to be so much chase down, so much poke here from the bottom lane of Vici as well.
Dunk it down. All you need to do is make sure that Jarvan catches somebody without a dash, without a flash either. All of a sudden, the combination between the Yuumi route and also the Jax Counter-Strike to stun everybody up is too much CC to deal with. So ultimately, it will have to be up to V5 to save their summoners, to rely on Max to eat very key members and keep them safe throughout these team fights, and to retaliate once those big AoE ultimates are laid down.
Well, for V5, getting off to the right foot here in game one is going to be the priority. Vici Gaming had a lead before the remake came through, but it was going either side, so you'd have to say, you don't know who is going to win that first game, which means everything will be decided here in the series. It's taken us a while to get here. Again, we thank you so much for your patience, folks. We know it's been a long night so far, but we're only just beginning. We've got this series, and then Top Esports and Rogue Warriors have both had to wait for the next series to come through. Both in Hongqiao tonight, both in Shanghai. And really getting tested here. The longevity of V5 and Vici Gaming. That's what's on the menu.
That's it. It's stamina as well. If you can sit there for that long a time and not actually get tired by the time that you enter what is technically your first game.
To be fair, they got to go backstage, sit back a little bit. Yep, they got to rest. That's why we had the long extended pause after the remake was confirmed. So players have had a chance to rest here. And this would kind of tell me, well, this next game will tell me whether we do see Windy still on the field, whether we see Alias come in for Mole or shifting around here for V5, because that we talked about a couple of hours ago, 3 hours ago, was the fact that we have, you know, some really dynamic entries here into the V5. Couple of mid laners, couple of top laners, they shift quite frequently, and that's the freshness that you need on this team. And Preacher, it looks like I'm about to do it. I'm about to get excited.
Say it.
Yes.
Give me the words that I want to hear.
We're jumping on to Summoners Rift after 3 hours, rather 2, of waiting to get back in. Finally, welcome back to the series and the beginning, the technical beginning of Vici taking on V5. Good to be back. He's getting angrier.
Does not give up.
The crowd is like, he's still here. I'll stop.
What? Come on, guys.
Okay,
Every single
so, a lot of support here for V5. Excited to see that Vici Gaming have pulled out the Jax once again. Now, Preacher, we have to break down matchups like we normally do. Windy's up in this top lane again. If this just gets turned on, Chalitza pops a pot and gets the grasp twice. Oh my, Windy is not going to be happy with that. And again, we see a lane swap, but this time it's from V5 as Chalitza just whacks him.
And this was meant to be a really good matchup for Windy as well. But being caught at level 1, this guy has nothing that he can actually do against the Jax. Like you just said, the 2 grasp procs means that he actually wins the lane until lane level number 2.
And remember, Transfusion is not going to be too much, even with the Crimson Rush passive that comes with it. So Vladimir into the top lane, struggling already against Chalitza, but they wanted a relatively easier matchup as the Camille hookshot, wallshot suffers from that.
You are correct. It does get turned on its head, but it's just so well played by Chalitza at the current moment. Right now, what I want to talk about is actually how the two team compositions are set up. So, obviously, Vici Gaming, they want to fight, especially in choke points in the jungle. If Jarvan can lay down his key tactical ultimate, he can get some really nice setup for the rest of his AoE team members. Whereas for V5, you want to take a look at the objective.
You were speaking about the jungle here. Yodang goes for a very early invade up to the top side of Krugs and contesting with Ben 4, and Ben 4 loses pretty much all of them.
Oh, no.
Even the small ones goes to Chalitza. He picked up a couple of Krugs there, so a lot of gold over to the Jax, who was already getting the shove out in this lane. And Yodang, with his aggressive pathing earlier, can just go back to his own jungle and know that he's ahead.
The most important thing about Krugs as well is the fact that you could get more experience from it. It's one of the easiest ways to rush levels over your opposing jungler. So stealing away the opposing one means that Ben 4 is going to be put in a really bad position, the same position that he put Yodang in our first game before the remake.
Now you got to remember, you're comparing the Vladimir with the Jax in the top side and Camille with the Lissandra in the mid. So another Camille mid technically here in the LPL. As this is a deep Vader's response. Raptors being the go-to, but Mole, level 4, starting to go walkabout.
Yeah, I like how Mole is actually facilitating Ben4 right now. Knowing that there was actually an invade on the top side of the map means that he needs to secure everything else available for Ben4, especially if nothing else, experience, because that is the most precious resource coming into this game. If Jarvan can get his level 6 before Ben4 does, then he's going to be on the map, whereas Ben4 is still going to be farming.
For Ben 4 now, the opportunity arises in the bottom lane. Teleport coming in from Y4 and Max, and they're pushed up here, but they know the jungler's there. Arcane Shift is available. So Vici Gaming not overplaying their hand here. But even CS seems to be there across the board with a jungle difference that we talked about before.
Yeah, we were also hyping up the bottom lane of Vici Gaming, Puff and Southwind. Now Puff on a very adept champion of the Ezreal, one of his main champions in the last split. However, V5 getting their hands on the Sona Time Kedge, we saw this was one of the compositions that was key to defeating Invictus Gaming, and now taking it into Vici. This could prove really good for Victory 5, because if you remember that quadra kill that Y4 got, he is not a newbie on the Sona.
No, he's not. I want to come back to Puff, though, because this is one of his best champions. Was he trading in the top lane? Pairs so nicely with the Yuumi. That, of course, is the bottom lane. Vici Gaming taking a quick snapshot at the runes of Chalitza, who almost level 6 now, has Grasp of the Undying into the Inspiration Tree. So the Biscuits surely going to help him sustain through this lane.
The Biscuits, but also the Corrupting Potion, getting the Elixir buff as well. You saw that in the level 1, and that was primarily what won his lane for him against Windy. You don't really win your lane against a Vladimir, but he bought so much room and space in order to CS all the way until his level 6.
I mean, 10 CS or 5 CS starts showing a winning lane to me, Preacher, that's for sure. We didn't really break down how this composition can excel, but you're looking at Vici Gaming, a lot of scaling in the Jax, Jarvan, a lot of team fight potential I can see here, and Puff Southwind can look after themselves. While for V5, to me, it seems like the all-in potential is greater the longer the fight goes as well with that Sona Time Kedge.
It all ramps up, and that's due to the Vladimir, but also to the Camille. If she can get her Hextech ultimatum down onto Puff, doesn't matter if you have a free flash in your Arcane Shift. You can't use it outside of that, and all of a sudden, V5's members can just converge on you. I'm looking at Max in specific. Normally, you use that ultimate in order to rotate, but with the Hextech ultimatum, you have more than enough time to actually just get on top of somebody's head.
And as we get to the late game, this V5 comp just doesn't die. You're expecting a Ravenous Hydra on the Camille. You're expecting Vladimir at 2-3 items to be close to unkillable unless there is that, not Avarice Blade, the Executioner's calling. Whichever one it is.
Also look out for a Morellos from Ian. It shouldn't be a rush, but it should be a second, third item.
Very true. So see how the itemization from Vici can affect that. We're only 6 minutes in, though, and in this early game, which I'm so glad I'm actually just so happy to see League of Legends. Like, man, it's like seeing you know, if you're overseas like me, you know, going back to Australia, and after 5 months, I saw my mum. And, you know, I almost cried. That's what this is like right now.
That's a tearjerker right there.
In fact, you know, seeing your mother is probably better than see. Actually, well,
ooh.
Depends what audience you say
Hysterics.
that to. No.
Hysterics.
Mother was definitely better.
All right. What are you trying to say?
So it is exciting to see, especially since we're seeing Southwind and Puff just smash this lane into the corner. Y4 has a lot of sustain, so we'll be able to heal that one back up. But every prowling projectile getting worse and worse here for V5.
That's the key topic. One of the best things about Yuumi is that she actually doesn't allow Sona to use her Q to maximum efficiency. Usually use it to hit 2 champions, but she can only use it to hit 1. And she's going to be building up her spell thieves a little bit slower than she would like.
Oh, Ian's going to get ganked on now, though. Ben4 doesn't have level 6, though. Here we go into the ultimate. Yep, onto himself. The counter gank comes through, and Chalitza's roamed down as well. Vici Gaming have made the roam, and Mole can't get out. They get first blood, they get second blood. Vici Gaming back with a passion.
Chalitza being really fast onto the jump as well, knowing the cooldown of the leap strike for Camille. Doesn't matter if she actually gets it a little bit later. He just stunned her up, and she didn't actually move.
And remember that Mole can't see his level. He used a Hextech ultimatum before, so wasn't able to get out of that play. And I just love the interaction of Counter-Strike with hook shot and wall shot. She can't use it. She can't get out. It's a pain to deal with, almost as much so as Riven in the top lane. As the final chapter comes out. Now that Sona is very low. Puff wants to burst him down, but the heal comes through, and Max saves the AD carry, as it were, while Puff and Southwind keep pushing in. An ulti expended, as well as Puff's on his side.
And check out the resources available for Puff, especially the mana, because he is going to be building that tier very fast. We have to watch his replay again, though. Obviously, like you said, the Hextech ultimatum is down, but Ian actually goes right back in, and this is methodical on purpose in order to buy time for both his jungler and his top laner to come. And at this point, the damage onto Ben4 is there. The stun onto Mole is there from Chalitza as well.
We're having such a wide discussion about Yodang's early game and what it looked like against RNG. It was neutralized, it was nullified. This game, he's accelerated 1-0-1 with the Warriors enchantment already picked up, and that is a good early game Jarvan that you want to see. Plus Chalitza making the roam down. He was already ahead in this lane. Now he has a Sheen. This Vladimir is going to hate life.
And he also knows the exact purpose of his role. It's just to neutralize the top lane, to make sure that his turret doesn't actually lose any turret plating. Looking back over at Yodang, which you were highlighting just a second ago, the Warriors is so evident, because if you take a look at all 3 lanes, they have the hard CC to set him up. So all he needs to do is bring some damage across. The 1-0-1 means that he's accelerated enough to do so.
Before 10 minutes getting Warrior as well, that Jarvan is just going to one-hit wombo combo that bottom lane. I'm talking about Y4 here. Sona not going to be liking this if caught out of position. So, either way.
The most important thing about the bottom lane is actually locking down Max, not locking down Y4, because if you do, then there's no Eat available for the Sona, and she's just squishy him for the taking.
Remember Cataclysm now, if you can lock down both of them, Max just doesn't move with Devour anymore. So, E's ability, while they get the bottom lane Dragon, also known as the only Dragon on Summoner's Rift. Cloud, Mountain, not as good as the Infernal Mountains we saw in the other first game, but still, building on the fact that they have the momentum, they get objective control, they've got a 1k gold lead, and it's a final chapter again in the bottom lane. Onto the time, Kent, that's an interesting true shot barrage.
Yeah, they were rooted down, but his dive.
In! The Glacial Path! Now he has the Frozen Tomb onto himself.
Reset.
Puff and Southwind are there. They explode onto Max, while Vici Gaming explode onto Summoner's Rift. That's a flash burnt out by Ian to stay alive, but they want double turret plating, and they got it.
Yeah, they can even go for more. Max cannot stop this, and he hasn't got any deeps.
Puff hitting the turret. This is going to be easily procced with the Spell Flux. Vici Gaming still 4 members, or rather 3 down here. Ian has left. And Max trying to defend it by himself. That is so much taken by Vici off that bottom lane dive.
It is, and they exploited the fact that Sona doesn't actually have any tanky stats early on. Usually it's a save potential coming out from TK, but as soon as he burns it, you can call your jungler. Huge cooldown level 1, huge cooldown before you actually get your ultimate as well, so no real way for Y4 to get out of that.
And Ian gets a kill as well. This is just spreading across the map for Vici Gaming. The top side is accelerated. Small CS leads where you can take them by 10 in the mid lane against the Camille. Top lane Chalitza, I'm just doing the quick crossover down there. He is actually behind in CS, but that's because he's starting to make roams himself, and the wave has pushed in, so I'll take it even. Almost Trinity Force, by the way, for the Jacks.
Yeah, that is super scary if you are playing as Windy, because you haven't even started to bully him out, push him towards his own turret, actually contest for his turret plating, and already he's getting to his power spike where he can actually fight you if you are actually caught outside of lane. So Windy has to call for some support. Luckily for him, Ben4 does have both a Chilling Smite and his ultimate, both of which can absolutely destroy a Jax in a 1v2.
But I think in the 1v2, as soon as this Trinity Force comes through, you don't take that. Chalitza will be big. Even with Cinderhulk, we know Cinderhulk is a late game scaling item. You know, it's always been said that If you want to go for the early game, like things like Warrior is always fantastic. But you're on a Sejuani, so you know what the drill is, ladies and gentlemen. While V5, the drill, seems to be onto the Rift Herald, and Windy's able to move here as well. So this is 5 members for the objective. What are Vici going to take?
Well, Vici are actually moving towards the mid lane. Take a look at the mini-map. They're just looking straight for the turret plating, so it'll be a fight between using this Rift Herald and the place they can get right now.
I want to see if they commit to the top side here, because there's a lot of members. They either go mid, try and get something, but there's escape for Yodang and Ian. Rift Herald finally coming to the top side. 3 members are here. Let's see what happens next.
This is a very acceptable plate gank as well. TP into the top lane brings Yuumi along with him.
They want to contest it rather than getting that turret, then TPing in. Very early here from Vici, but they save the turret at the very least, and the Rift Herald dies. Now Puff and Southwind have changed lanes.
So normally I would say that Rift Herald would have been very worth it if they actually used it in order to get down a full turret and then used it on the second one as well. But they used it as an exchange, and that exchange was for mid lane where they got pretty much the same amount of turret plating. So not actually the maximum efficiency that V5 could have played that to.
Yeah, you're very right, because at the moment Vici Gaming 3k ahead, still keeping the consistency of this lead. And Puff just gets the free farm away in this top side. He's got a Sheen, Tyr, Pickaxe himself, Manamune or Iceborne coming up next, depending on what he wants to start with. But every lane from Vici, cool, calm, collected. And finally that item power spike we were talking about for Vici Gaming as well. As cool, calm, collected as you can be, now against the Trinity Force Jax.
Oh no, this is bad. Ben 4.
And you get 1v1 by the Java, and the Flag and Drag is out. Arctic Assault, but that's the escape tool from Ben 4. Be careful, because Camille nearby.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is one of the worst case scenarios for the bottom lane of V5 as well, because they just rotated top lane with the play on the Rift Herald as well, but then the bottom lane of Vici Gaming just teleported up. It's like, no guys, give me a break, come on. And now it's going to get pushed here once more.
Not too surprised to see V5 hovering around the bottom side though. That's where Chalitza is, that's where they want to stop the Jax from just farming away. But Wendy's doing the exact same thing. It's not like he's getting bullied out, so you take the wins where you can get them right now for V5, because Vici's still, like I said, in firm grasp of this game.
Yeah, Windy, not that far behind, because the kill is not actually onto him, which means that 0-0-0, he is ready for team fights as much as everybody else is. It just means that he's going to be lacking, because the Triforce power spike is so strong on the Jax comparatively to the dash cannon. So in the 1v1 at the very least.
Preacher, you said it. There it is.
Well,
that's a Hema playing
out. I said team fights. I did not say the 1v1.
I mean, you said the dash cannon's not as powerful. Well, it's going to help him clear waves, while mid turret, rather top turret, goes down from V5. Able to push against Ian. These lane assignments have changed up yet again.
They most certainly have. And it usually does benefit Vici Gaming wherever they place their bottom lane, because it is just catch-up duty from V5. None of them can really defend the lane, so what they do is they actually opt to change the bot lane to another one that doesn't oppose the Ezreal Yuumi. But that doesn't leave a very good taste for either of the solo laners of V5 either, because they can't hold it in their own rights.
So Vici, while this goes on, Preacher, another dragon going to be taken down. This time it's a mountain. Thank you. Close enough. Yep. There we go. Infernal now. We're just running through them, it seems, here in Game 1.
It's a good set. The first one, not so much, but they got it because they had firm control of this Dragon Pit. And if you take a look at where the wards are placed, especially with Vici Gaming, a lot of focus down onto that Dragon Pit. It is going to be a constant place and source of stats for Vici Gaming.
You'd have to think as well, with the composition that Vici Gaming have, like an Infernal is beautiful, but Mountain, the ability to poke out, maybe towards this neutral objective, maybe Baron. You can be optimistic about what they can use the Dragons for, because it is still a very versatile team.
It is, and you can use it for either busting down these turrets, because you've got uneven members trying to weigh it down. If they're trying to, V5, sorry, are trying to race you for it, you win that one as well.
That feels bad for Chalitza. All right, second attempt. By the way, he's absolutely destroying everything he touches. That's a BF sword in the inventory of the Jax.
Early GA as well. That's the call.
Well, I'm going to say this, Preacher. It's most likely, as the normal build has been, it's going to be the Spear of Shojin. 2-item Jax, as big as a 2-item Renekton. Remember, Counter-Strike every half a second. Something crazy. It's like 1. But you know what I'm saying,
You use and then you use your ulti as well.
No, I mean, you have to use your ulti. That's why you do it. Right?
But I'm saying you use the Counter-Strike first. Yeah.
Yeah. So, at the moment, for Chalitza in a very good position. Again, talking up the Jax matchup into the Vladimir. They've finally paired back up into the top side, and Yodang is nearby.
We already saw what this matchup has entailed, and now with the Jarvan as well, Windy, you better get out of it.
He's waiting for the Hema Plague. Now Yodang is juggling aggro while the turret goes down now for Windy. He's going to get the Crimson Rush. The Hema Plague comes out third, gets the Transfusion. Chileta at half health. Hasn't popped the ulti just yet.
Yeah, I was about to see the rotation that was coming around, but it was just Southwind compared to Y4. Y4 is extremely farmed right now, so that could have actually swung in the way of V5, but not opting to take the fights.
Prowly projectile. Thought Chileta wanted in.
Max distance.
It does a little bit more the slowing element that's starting to build up here for the Yuumi. Almost said Nico support. Puff left mid again. Now the roaming cat versus the roaming catfish. Max at the moment putting the pressure on. They come in for the flank. Great pathing here from Ben4, but they eat him up. Max gets the 80 carry while the rest of V5 come on in, and Max underneath turret is going to get stunned down with the crescendo to help them out. The glacial path not taken by Ian. And V5 walk away for the 1-for-1 trade onto the 80 carry.
Very fortunate of Ben4 to be walking around that area. As soon as he saw that Puff used his E to poke down with his W in conjunction as well, immediately went for the game because there's no way the Ezreal can get out. No flash on him either. Puff just died.
And it means that for V5, still favorable trade when they're so far behind. They are 3k gold behind still, but getting Puff and getting a kill onto, unfortunately, Max.
Yep.
Is good news, and I love the creative pathing here from Ben4.
Yeah, Ben4 was just around the area, and he managed to get it. What we don't actually see in this replay was the fact that there was actually the arcade shift forward, which prompted the entire fight.
Crescendo onto Chileta and Ian saved the re-engage by V5. So if that ult didn't come out, I fear that Vici Gaming would have just clubber-knuckered them.
Clubber-knuck?
Yeah, I think a clubber-knock
was
what I was going for.
Inventing new words.
I really am. It's good that I'm with you, Preacher, because if it was with Raz, he would shame me.
I am shaming you right now.
No.
I do not tolerate
you're not right. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I might get absolutely ridiculed tomorrow, but that's a very different day.
Who cares about tomorrow? If we can make it to tomorrow, I'd be very happy.
I tell you what, tonight we're making it to midnight. I think we're going to conflict.
I don't care. Let's do it.
All right, well, it's not really your choice, the team's choice, but sure, let's do it anyway. With V5, though, I need to bring to attention that we have a Knight's Vow on Ben4. Now, early itemization here, Ben4 has a lead in the jungle in CS. The only thing that's keeping it even is that Yodang has the kill to his name. So, BF Sword versus a Knight's Vow as a second item is going to be pretty big.
It's very interesting as well, because there are realistically two targets that you can put it on. You can either put it onto Windy, or you can put it onto Mole.
It's on Windy.
Yeah.
It's on, because it's not on Sona.
Which means that they anticipate
I don't think he put it on yet. That's a crescendo. Puff just arcane shifts away. Early to the chase as Yodang comes in for the flank, but has he come too early? The Cataclysm down. Yodang gets destroyed. No. Mistake from Vici Gaming as they come on down fast with the Glacial Prison. Puff trying to poke them out for the re-engage.
Yeah, Yodang just delivered himself into 5 members. If you take a look, Chalitza was in the top lane. No TP either.
Now for the re-engage from Ben4 once again. Puff still able to arcane shift out of there, so safety for now, but that True Shot Barrage does not clear the wave, and Y4 with the rest of the team, they want to charge.
Yes, and V5, they are pushing this pick to the max, knows that Jax won't be there either.
Oh, Ian gets the ultimate down onto Max, so the re-engage once again, a messy game it seems, just the way I like it. V5 running for their lives. 6 kills, 20 minutes, yeah, but Vici want to make it more.
And already you can see that Y4 is getting to the point in which Sona is becoming a nuisance. Her W healing up Max to the point where these picks cannot actually happen. The shielding is real, and it is very well on the map.
That's what happens when you have a Seraph's Embrace, and wait, hold the phone. Early Baron begins.
Here it is. Y4's here.
3K teleports in. They're going to go for it. The 50-50 to come through. They get the Baron, but for Vici Gaming, they lose Puff straight off the bat while turning onto Y4, who's so darn squishy. Hextech Ultimatum, Windy into the backside, flashes on in. Hema Plague, he's going to get Ian as well, while the rest of V5 clean them up. Naughty doing Baron without us.
Why would you be doing that so early into the game? It was nice because there was no vision over there, so you could commend them on that one. However, V5 immediately collapsing. Max had his spidey sense of tingling. Wait a second. The timer is over 20 minutes, and he plays the control ward.
This trade's not going to be worth it. You get 1,500 gold naturally from Baron, but what is the cost? In a turret in the mid lane, along with that out of that drop moments ago, V5 get everything they needed, opening up the mid lane. getting your two side laners going. V5 going to have happy thoughts.
More importantly, take a look at where the kills went on to Y4 as well. We have to watch out for his performance. Doesn't quite have crescendo, but it doesn't even matter because he catches out Puff, and you can see the debuff of Baron amplifying his magic damage. That was a very nice save coming out from his support to even keep him alive. And then Yurang on the backside doesn't even matter because Soda could just heal herself up to full.
Mole flew himself forward. I heard a flash. Maybe that was just in the replay. Hang on, let me have a quick look. No, never mind. Hold that thought, excuse me. It is Spirit Shojin second, by the way, Preacher. It's item update time. GA there for Yodang is second. Protobelt, Luden's Echo. Normal for the Lissandra mid. But the biggest matchup, well, the biggest thing I need to point out here is technically the matchup. The Vladimir, who fell behind, who is in a good position now after that fight, picking up a kill. And a Rabadon's death cap second. Like, screw anything else. Let's just go straight to the big witch's hat.
Beautiful. Also gives him that bonus little bit of HP as well. This Vladimir is teamfight ready. I thought that he was teamfight ready as soon as he got his second item, but now with that as well, and also the 10% CDR from the Fiendish, good to go.
It's so hard to kill Windy here. Do we have a sword in the inventory? No, we do not, but we have ourselves an ult in the back line. It's Vici Gaming forcing the issue. Two-man crescendo as well with the catnip, sending it out of the bag. That's the Camille, caught in the middle, and Mole drops first as the rest of Vici Gaming send Chalitza into the front line. The Jax takes it, but no! A four-man Hemoplague. Windy comes in and says, is there a breeze in here? I just opened the damn door.
That was awesome coming out from Windy. It was a little bit late, but better late than never. And putting all members of Vici Gaming onto the back foot, pretty much killing everybody on the spot as well. You have to say, in each one of these fights, they look so good at the start for Vici Gaming, especially because Yodang just ultimates from the beginning. Doesn't even QE, just presses the R button so everybody else on his team can catch up. But then the question slowly starts to creep in. What happens if Windy gets here? Who CC's Windy? And the answer was nobody does.
Yeah, it's the LPL. All right, let's just fight again. Max going to jump on this blast cone. He doesn't quite get over, but that's enough to get him out. Chalitza really searching for blood after that last fight. And to reiterate there, while we have a look at the replay, this was Vici's fight.
Watch Yodang, doesn't even QE, straight onto Max to make sure that Y4 can't be eaten up. The turret gets taken down, which is crucial in Vici Gaming going forward, but keep your eye on the minimap because here comes Windy. And then he gets into the entire fight. Woo! Everybody down with the Hemoplague as well. And that is clean up duty.
It really is. Observers like, holy moly, wait, there's a game going on. V5 claw back the majority of that gold lead through that single play as well. 1,000 now in the bank, the difference. And the rest of Vici Gaming after that have to claw at their heads, scratch and go, well, we need to make sure that doesn't happen again because Yodang lost his GA. The safety of the Jarvan going in first is now nullified.
Now check out the item power advantage that we have for especially V5 coming out strong in that last fight. You've got Vladimir now on 2 kills instead of 1, and also you've accelerated Y4 to the point where he's not actually fearing for his life in the middle of these, because you can see that the strategy for Vici Gaming isn't actually to all target Y4, it's to lock down Max to make sure that Max can't actually eat Y4 and protect him.
Chalitza going to finally find the original partner of his lane that he never got to verse. Behind a level is Mole, but Ben4 coming in here, they don't know Yodang's behind. Spot him out with a ward. Is he just going to disappear? Yodang over the wall.
TP though.
Oh, Mole's actually going to come in. Hextech automated and the Jarvan can't really done. V5 take him out with a flick of the wrist and a swish and flick from the catnip as well. We come in with a 2-man, 3-man book. But unfortunately, Ian, in the middle of the fight, this is the turnaround. We need to see Puff get the damage down, but the Vladimir heals up once again. Now for Puff, they're so darn low. He wants to take it. He finds one. Onto Max, the prowling projectile. Finds the other. He wants Mole. Puff has an arcane shift in 3, 2, 1. But that's it. Good turnaround here from Puff and Southwind. Never thought I'd see them make the fight.
Still great from Puff to actually avoid most of the damage coming out from Windy when he engaged. So all in all, it was the bottom lane of Vici Gaming that narrowly pulled it out. It was the top side of the map for their team, though, who were caught in that instance. And it was primarily from diving too deep, trying to find a play when they themselves were played, and also Max with the ulti to collapse onto them.
Yeah, it was good from both sides. And I know that's just a bit of a cop-out, but V5 are genuinely finding great windows to take the engages off the back of Mole's hard on.
As soon as Yodang goes in there, you know that Max is going to TP with Y4 as well, but then all of the TPs get called and everybody joins in. Watch for Puff's position, especially against Windy, because Windy tries to get the Hemo Plague onto him, and as soon as he does, immediately ease out, so that no extra damage follows that, so practically nothing coming out from Windy, and then he's just on cleanup duty.
I think for Vici Gaming, Ian was so crucial to that fight. My God, the damage came out of nowhere. So Lysandra, a big element to play with here, but Puff and Southwind got the respect they deserved in the end. Everyone backs out from V5, but not before they take 2 to the death with the rest of their Vici Gaming members. It's going to get worse and worse. Right now for Vici, still holding the gold lead, but only slight. I say that because look at Windy, look at the Jax. Chalitza trailing him right now, but I don't think Mole wants this 1v1 just yet.
I'm going to say it's very brave coming out from Mole.
For now, I think that GA makes a difference, though.
The fact that he's playing so close to his turret as well is providing that extra level of security. But we just need to watch for who can actually deal with the Jax.
Or maybe 2 of them can. Windy comes in. Unfair 1v1. I think Mole was starting to take him down anyway. So now that Chalitza's dead, 45 seconds. A big TP out of the game.
Yeah, Vici Gaming, they are now on the back foot, and V5 realistically should be setting up for these objectives. No Dragon, but there is a Baron available, and all you can do is shove out the mid lane and then move straight to their death stack.
Vici Gaming still delaying it though. Got the mid shove now from V5. They start making the journey across to the big old purple worm. Ian in position.
It's interesting because this is reminiscent of what happened in the previous game as well. The 2 solo laners of V5 catching out the split push, and now it's Chalitza. Here's the Baron, though.
Here's the problem. If V5 pull off, they've got the bottom lane Camille still pushing in, who has TP. They can play this out, and Vici Gaming have to make the call.
They can, and this is the most dangerous part. Mole is going to be such a huge asset within this. There's already a back coming out from Ian. No TP from him.
My God. He's just taken 2 turrets down in 30 seconds.
That's what happens when you have the Triforce. Now we've got to keep our eyes once more on the Baron area because it was a double back from the double solo laners of Vici Gaming. They are losing out on this rotation play, and V5 catching them for the better.
They really are. So V5 takes stock of Mole. Feels like he's going to be very crucial in this next fight. GA now picked up, and
look at that Baron.
What you're having a look on the screen, that's right. It's the Baron buff minus 2,000 for Vici Gaming. Because now V5 have taken the lead comfortably. 1,400 gold for what seems like the first time in this game. And they've got an Infernal as well, so it's not like in the scaling game they miss out. But really, with the composition in hand as well.
This is the definition of empiric victory. You get the Baron buff, but you lose so much more. Not only do you lose the fight afterwards, but also the turrets. And V5 are in firm control of the wave pressure on all of these side lanes. Take a look at top lane in specific. That is going to be pushing towards Vici Gaming, and all of this has to be weighing down in about 30 to 1 minute time.
But I want to look at the bottom lane, because Windy's still shadowing Mole. This has been the go-to for the past 3 to 4 minutes. If Chalitza goes for the 1v1 with Sterix Gauge when he finally gets it, which seems like the back timing is there, then Mole going in for the fight is definitely needed. So smart shadowing, smart rotations here from V5 to bring us into this mid to late game.
Yeah, but check out the mid lane. This is definitely volatile, and anybody could engage this in a second's notice, especially because Vici Gaming, if they play way too aggro and use an Arcane Shift, that is the go button.
With Luden's Echo as well, I might add. There is a needlessly large rod in Puff's inventory. Now, not only did he go Trinity Force this game, which is always, you know, balls to the wall, the 3 item Ezreal with QSS has an abyssal large rod.
Here it is
and
again.
now Chalitza, let's see how you're going here in the 1v2. The Human Play comes through. He needs to outplay. He gets the Wind Strike, sends up with a counter strike, but Mole, not even the GA popped. Windy's just too strong right now in the 1v2.
Second time around, and Vici Gaming are not capitalizing on the fact that they have more members around the mid lane, don't actually want to take that fight. Now they are going to lose it massively. Check it out once more. Mole still has TP. They can go for exactly the same play. Just bait out the Baron.
You're right, Preacher. They can't get on top of the time catch. The Sona, the big piggy, is then 4. Still able to take all the damage. Doesn't really matter about the Prowling Projectile. Meanwhile, Camille on the bottom side.
Oh, this is
Vici need an answer because Chalitza's not up in 30 seconds.
And take a look at this. They're immediately going in. They have to split their focus.
Holy V5. They have so much control in this game. They can keep doing the Baron. And Vici is split like a bunning snag.
Do it! Now all you need to do is pull the trigger. There is still the TP, so watch out for that.
So that big TP is finally Mole coming to the fight. 5 members
Yodang
committing to Baron while the inhibitor is being broken in the bot side. Going down quickly, Yodang wants to steal, but Max flashes over the wall. Can he get there? He's devoured up. They're going to rush it down. The cat comes in again, and Southwind with the final chapter doesn't land it, but the GA gets popped by Yodang while Chalita jumps in. The Jax want a 2-man counter-strike. He gets one onto Y4, who gets devoured up himself. Chalita can't do much. In the back, the Jax is everything, but he's going to drop, and V5 now can go front to back. Mole jumps in again, uppercut to the face, and V5 turn this game into theirs. Vici Gaming for the hills, they run. Puff launched on Southwind on the right side of the wall, but Ben 4 knows the way to get over that. Good night. And goodbye to Vici in game 1.
You do not put Mole into a corner. Take a look at that. Even though he was so far behind, he managed to pull it back.
After what was a very long wait, V5 coming out with the audacity to smack down Vici. A remake, recharged. Game 1 is all V5 will talk about.
And it is all on the table for them in the very first game. That was such smart play from the macro perspective. The fact that Camille was sent bottom lane because she has TP, abusing the fact that the solo laners of Vici Gaming do not have TP, and always forcing the Baron, always forcing the split push in the bottom lane as well. Eventually, Mole managed to break the base and even took an inhibitor for himself. It was GG at that point onwards, and the Baron was just the icing on top of the cake to finish off the series.
Very impressed with how V5 played the end of that game, and that's the team that beat Invictus Gaming, making short work. And look, the versatility in this roster cannot be underestimated.
It was smart play as well, and you have to say from the early game, it went so far towards Vici Gaming's favor. They got the lead. They got 3 kills for themselves on Chalitza, Yodang, and Ian respectively, and they just weren't able to push that lead. A little bit of hubris coming out from Vici Gaming. Chalitza was always off on a side lane because why not? He's a Jackson, he's fed, but all of a sudden, Mole and Windy as well, catching him 2v1. Doesn't matter how fed you are.
Much better performance there from Windy on the Vladimir. Held out in the lane. Chalitza bullied him out early, but kept up in CS, and eventually got to that late point. It's like, well, I'd rather have the Vladimir on my team because Chalitza, there was so much disengaged from V5.
There was one job for Chalitza to really hit on, and that was getting into the entire team and getting a 3, 4, or 5-man counter-strike. Did not actually manage to find that within the game. Always found within the side lane, and that was ultimately his demise. He never used the gold lead that he accrued early.
Yeah, well, Preacher, I got to say, after what has been a, really long time coming, I think that game 1 delivered. Like, that was a long wait, but let me tell you, the game 1 was delivered.
And you wouldn't normally expect it. I mean, people were saying, looking at the standings as well, but throw all of that out the window because that first game, it was so methodical coming out from V5 as well. I mean, especially the late game with the push, you cannot overrate that.
So I want to start breaking down a little bit further as to that top lane Camille, rather mid lane Camille in the end. Mole had what we were expecting at the start of the split, the carry potential in this team, and that game was all about him in the end.
He also had a lot of fortitude because he fell down 0-2 at the start, and you were thinking maybe this guy doesn't have a strong part to play in the team fights because your Hextech ultimatum pushes other people out. But what he did was he just found himself in the side lane over and over again, and it doesn't matter if you're behind with all of these 1v1s. If you 1v0, you're going to be taking that
1v0, yeah. In PvE in the end it was because Chalitza is just out of lane getting bullied out by Mole. Getting bullied out by Windy, sorry. So there's good synergy between the two solo laners as well.
There is, yeah. It's nice to see them playing together. If either of the two are behind, just 2v1, gang up on them and use your TP advantage.
But it wasn't a fact that they're behind as well. Chalitza getting more and more farm. You're like, well, this can't happen. We need to shove him out of lane. And the Camille and Vlad, like, unkillable in that 2v1.
It was dangerous watching Chalitza early in the 1v1s in the laning phase because you were thinking a Jax pushing into a Vladimir, this is insane. And then he got his Triforce, so you were like, wow, if nobody checks this guy, he is actually just going to run away with the game. But fortunate for V5, they did, and they also used their safety with the other members of the team to make sure that Max could always save the other members to never actually fight on the other parts of the map. So very smart play.
It's a good ending from V5. Great way to end game number 1. We're going to have a short break, and yes, it's going to be very short this time, don't worry. Then go into game 2 with our hearts wide open. We'll be right back.